Man, I am exhausted.
You're not the only one.
That was a heck of an event there, John.
Oh, man.
Finally back from Wheels in the Woods. Only a couple hours ago, we finally wrapped everything up.
Yep. I torqued my ankle this morning loading the Jeep up on the way here, so walking all day on that was killing my foot.
Yeah, you were limping around a little bit, weren't you?
It's horrible. It's throbbing as we speak. Like my foot.
Well, we're back here in the Thin Line Off-Road Studio, and we actually have a special guest today. We have Mr. Ed Henry, who is a longtime listener to the podcast.
And our newest lifetime member as of today.
Yeah, newest lifetime member to the museum. So how you doing today, Ed?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Just enjoying this beautiful day here.
Yeah. Well, we'd like to talk to you a little bit about what we did today and your firsthand experience of the first Wheels in the Woods that you came to, as well as your own vehicle. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. Does that sound good to you?
That sounds wonderful.
It's time to hit the trail, lock in those hubs, and throw it into low range. Because you are listening to Wheelin with Keith and Johnny Orange, broadcasting from the Thin Line Off-Road Studio. They're here to talk about 4x4s, trucks, and everything to do with enjoying the great outdoors. Buckle up. Here's your hosts, Keith and Johnny Orange.
Welcome to Wheelin with Keith and Johnny Orange. Today we've got our special guest Ed in the studio with us. And we're talking about the Wheels in the Woods event that is finally wrapped for the day and for the year.
Yeah, that's our second annual one. So, Ed, you brought out something that we didn't have last year. We were really hoping last year to have a sandrail of some sort. Would you call yours a sandrail?
Oh, most definitely a sandrail. Technically, it's a tube-framed buggy, but it's a sandrail. That's my baby right there.
I can attest, that thing rips in the sand, man. Oh, man.
Well, that thing's super cool. It's a four-seater, and so tell us a little bit about it. Like, what's it powered by? What's your drivetrain options, things like that.
I started as a tube frame, and I basically copied a Acme buggy style, and then I put my own little twist on it, and then got some other people to give me a hand as far as drawing up different plans and cutting into it a little bit and helping me design better stuff for it to make it more user-friendly for me and easier to fix for me, because it turns out the first edition of that kept on breaking stuff because I am definitely not an engineer and I screwed a few things up.
Ed's very hard on things. He's gone through a few engines on that vehicle.
Well, what kind of engine you running now? I saw the turbo on the back of it. What do you got going on there?
I got a 2.4 liter Ecotech, and that was originally a stock Ecotech motor out of a 2006 SS, Cobalt SS.
Okay.
And it was supposed to hold up pretty good. Well, I'm a little hard on things, and I cracked cylinder number 4 twice. And then I was like, well, it's time to upgrade like any good off-roader would do. It was time to throw some money into an engine and start upgrading stuff.
So I know you've beefed up the transmission in that too. I know you've gone through a couple variations of that.
Oh, yes. I definitely broke a few parts on my transmission because when I was up at Silver Lake Sand Dunes, just because you're going up and down hills, sometimes your transmission does not get lubricating abilities to like the front bearings and stuff, and they dry out very quickly, and it's hard on them. And sand is not nice on parts. So therefore, I end up breaking gears and just a ton of different stuff. Throwout bearings were, every other time I was pulling the motor, I was replacing a throwout bearing. There was a lot of parts, but the Mendiola transmission that I put into it, I had 3 different VW transmissions, and every time I upgraded and tried to build bigger and better and faster, and it put a lot more pressure on my transmission. So therefore, my last trans that I have now, I went with a Mendiola and a super diff on that.
That thing looks pretty cool. I saw that. And yeah, I mean, you figure a stock VW, even a 9-rib bus transmission is not going, they're not really meant to hold 300-400 horsepower of a turbocharged engine or anything like that. Those were originally behind the little Pancake 4, 60 horsepower engines. So yeah, with that kind of horsepower you're running now, you needed something that was a little upgraded. And of course, like you said, you get a heavy foot on that thing and, start pushing. I was impressed. That was the first sandrail I've ever seen with power steering.
The power steering actually came from a gentleman at.
Can't think of it right
now.
Yeah, it's all right. That's all right.
It's been a long day for sure.
But it's not. It looked almost like a full hydro steering, but it's not. So you have like a hydro box on the steering shaft. And was there a separate shaft that comes out of that then up to the front? Is that what it does?
Yeah, I have a shaft that goes down to the steering box, and it comes off of a pump. And then there is hydraulic lines that run back to the motor, and there's another pump back there that provides hydraulic fluid, and then it goes into a steering setup on that, and then it has a slide shaft that goes into the front box, allowing me to move back and forth.
Yeah, no, that was really cool. And then you're running like 35-inch tires on that thing, or 33s?
Those are, I believe, 33s, and with bead lockers, because I've learned the hard way not having bead lockers. As one of my good friends would say, spinning isn't winning.
Yeah, there you go.
When you're at Silver Lake or out on the trails, I had to drop a few pounds of pressure because my sandrail is so light that if I didn't, I'd get stuck super easy. So by dropping pressure, give me a bigger footprint. The only downside is the tires would spin on the rim.
Gotcha.
And that is a big issue with my paddle tires because I do not have bead lockers on my paddle tires yet.
Gotcha.
That will be the next upgrade.
Don't want to burn those out. Those things aren't cheap.
No. So at Wheels in the Woods, you won Best Sand Machine. I know that. Didn't you win another award as well?
I won the adult RC car racing.
Oh, okay. Yes.
I forgot about that.
So, yeah, we had the RC. Okay, let's get your honest opinion on this, Ed, because that was the first time that we have ever done this. We had some crushed concrete there. We didn't put it there. It's been there for years. It was an area. That used to be a real low-lying area, and they put a base in there because the idea was eventually a parking lot for a different event area in there that hasn't come to fruition yet. But so the crushed concrete's still there. How did that work with your RC car? Your RC car seemed to have a lot of power to it. It seems to be a theme of yours. That thing was pretty insane.
My RC car was a little torquey for that path. I actually would have been better off on the Power Wheels track.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit bigger. It was a little tight for my RC car because it is just too powerful. I kept on getting hung up on different things that I probably would have wished to go slower on.
Yeah.
I mean, mine are not really meant for slow gearing or anything. They're meant for doing 60 miles an hour in a parking lot or going through grass with 4-wheel drive. They're big toys,
Yeah, they really are.
They were a little too much for that. And like I said, they were just too snappy and I kept on getting hung up.
Or overshooting the obstacle. I saw that a few times.
Was it fun, though?
Oh, I had a blast. The only thing that was really irritating me was when I kept on getting hung up on something small and then it would get traction and then jerk off the track and take off and it would be 4 feet from where it should have been. And I was like, really?
Did you see the hang up the kid that won the RC, the youth class? Did you see when he got stuck on, it was like the littlest tiny twig. It was like not much bigger than a toothpick, but it got jammed through the wheel on his RC car and it just locked it right up and it would not move. Did you see that?
I did see that. Matter of fact, I think I hit the same twig and it threw me off the track.
What a stupid twig, man. I mean,
if someone actually, designed an actual RC track, with a bulldozer or something cool and made it real big.
A bulldozer.
Wouldn't it have to be a remote control bulldozer to qualify for that, though?
Yeah, you know.
I mean, that would still be sweet, but
Yeah, I think that track would be better for like those Traxxas low speed rock crawlers.
those things are cool.
Yeah, it was because I think the highest elevation that we had was 3 or 4 inches. I know the kid that won the youth class, he had like one of those Amazon rock crawlers. It was 4-wheel drive, but it only had like maybe, I don't know, 1.5 tall tires on it. They weren't very big.
It had some impressive suspension travel for such a small car.
That it did.
Oh,
I was
God.
surprised. Yeah.
See, he had his suspension on that thing was better than mine. The only thing I beat him on is I had a little bit more ground clearance than he did. And I had obviously a little bit more torque and a little bit more power. But he actually, I think, did better than me because of...
Oh, he beat you by points.
1 point. 1 point.
One point, okay. I'll give him that.
But Ed completed the course in half the time, and that had to be something with the power there, too.
Yeah.
So,
well, okay, jumping over stuff, just because you have speed and power, I mean, and plus I ran over stuff and jumped through things.
More of a technical. The speed, the power doesn't always help if like you said, it goes off the track and suddenly you're 4 feet outside of where you meant to be.
well, Ed was basically a mini King of Hammers event there,
Yeah,
where it was all
yeah.
about high horsepower and like hitting those rocks as fast as you can go is what it was.
Well, you know, sometimes that's all you have. All I had was I have no turning ability on that thing, and all I have was speed and power. You know, it's kind of like the sandrail. I have a lot of speed and very little turning ability in it. Takes me a football field to turn, but at least I know I have the speed and everything else, and a cut and brake to help me out.
But you know how to drift in that thing pretty well too. I've seen you make some sharp turns on the sand. It's pretty cool.
One of my favorite things to do is to actually go up on the side of a hill and then lock up the rear tire and like take the whole front end and like rip it sideways so you get the quick nosedive going down and then fast acceleration, or you get up to the very top and then you're still accelerating and you pull the handbrake and the back end just slides right around. And
We're back talking about the sandrail here.
Yeah. A little more than the RC car.
Yeah, no. That's okay. That's okay. So, but it's the theme with that. So that's cool.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
Yeah, just add a little power to it. That's how I always feel.
Yeah.
The power, the better.
Well, Ed helped out too today with, we had the Power Wheels technical course. We called it Power Wheels Rock Crawling, although there wasn't really any rocks. We did make out of plywood, kind of that fake, rock area back and forth. What was, as a spectator and even just kind of helping out, you were helping direct some of the kids where to go. What was your thought? That was the first time we did that as well. How'd you like that Power Wheels thing?
I really enjoyed the Power Wheels thing. I had a great time watching the kids drive around.
Oh, that was seriously cool. And the kid that had the power ram with the turbo sound effect, that was just cool, man.
It sounded better than my truck.
So the kid that really, I think he completed the course the fastest by a significant amount of time. I don't remember what the times were.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, he had a Power Wheels that looked like a Dodge Dually.
Yeah.
And it made Cummins turbo sounds when he hit.
He did amazingly well with that right off the rip. That was cool.
He was pivoting.
They all did very well.
They did, yeah.
It was impressive. I was very impressed with the Power Wheels machines themselves. I mean, they're way different from what I remember when I was a kid. But they were cool.
And they were ripping those around the corner of the trees, and they just, it was a great way for them to almost teach technical driving for like trail ride driving.
Absolutely.
So this might actually be a really good point for. I know you interviewed John a couple of the Power Wheels
we talked to a couple
riders.
of the kids and one of the parents that were involved with that. So why don't we take a quick moment here and hear what they have to say?
Yeah, let's hear what they have to say, and then maybe there'll be a quick break, and we'll talk to after the break.
Sounds good. See you then. Well, hi there, folks. This is Johnny Orange talking to you from Wheels in the Woods 2019. We're going to talk with one of the racers from our Power Wheels race today. So what's your name, buddy?
William Martin.
Okay. And how did you like the race today?
Good.
Good. How do you think you did?
Good.
Cool. So what would you like to see next time for it?
I want to come here next day to do a little gooder. Because next day I'll get bigger and gooder as this.
So how old are you?
4.
4. And are we going to see you again here next year for it?
Yeah.
So how fast did you think he went with it?
I went this fast.
This fast? Do you have a guess as far as a number or anything?
Yeah, I was trying to speed up.
So did you hit any trees or hit any of the caution tape while you were going around there?
Yep. Like this, and I backed up, but I didn't do it. I kept trying before I did. Now I stuck my head. I ran around the course.
That works. I don't know, Keith, if you have any questions for this young man here?
Oh, let me think. What can I think of? So, what color is your Jeep there?
Green.
Green. And is it really, really fast?
Yeah, like this fast. Zoom.
Do you ever take your friends or anybody else in it?
No, because all my friends are big and grown up now. And they cannot fit in my Jeep.
Okay, that sounds pretty cool. Do you ever take your sister in the Jeep?
Yeah, I have to go forward.
All right, well, thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
What's your name?
Adelaide,
And how old are you?
8.
Did you have fun with the Power Wheels course?
Yes.
How fast do you think you went through? Do you remember?
No.
No. Did you hit anything while you were in there?
I think so.
Would you do it again?
Yes.
What was your favorite part about doing this?
I don't know.
You don't know? Do you like the old trucks here?
Yeah.
Yeah? You're pretty shy, huh? Oh, okay. Do you ever take your little brother for a ride in the, or your other brothers and sisters for a ride in the Power Wheels?
Yes.
Are they scared of you driving?
No.
No? You hit that pretty hard a couple times. All right. Well, thank you for talking to us, Adelaide.
Thank you.
So this is Johnny Orange also talking to you from Wheels in the Woods 2019. We're speaking with Dan, the father of Adelaide. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, you are.
So what did you think? We know you had 2 kids out here running the race today. So what did you think of the course? It's the first time doing it for us this year at this event. Definitely hope to continue it in the future. You know, what'd you think?
I thought it was a good little course. Nice little obstacles for them. Nice tight corners to teach them how to back up and everything.
Definitely had some technical skills challenge like you would out there on an actual course, eh?
Yeah, yep. Got to teach them how to back up and turn the wheel the opposite way. Right, Adelaide? Yeah.
Where's your Scout, Mr. Dan?
Unfortunately, it's still on the hoist.
Oh, we had some people asking if it was going to get here, so, you know, we got to do a Scout episode soon, too. We had a gentleman request that we do a international episode for Wheelin.
That would be awesome. Yeah, I could have rushed it and had it here, but I would have had to tear everything back apart and redo it properly, so I don't want to have to do that again.
And for our listeners, Mr. Dan here is the guy we've talked about before that has the Scout 2, the orange Scout 2 that we've gone wheeling with before. So I haven't seen it on the trails in a couple years. Need to see it back out there again.
Sorry, I had to build a house. Wife made me.
All right. Anything else you got, John?
I think that's about all. Just thank you guys for coming out. Glad you had a good time, and we hope to see you next year.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, guys. It was fun.
Thank you. And we're back. So John and, of course, Ed, because we got Ed sitting here as well today. This was the second year we did the show. Last year, our turnout was a little bit higher, not by much, but we had some terrible weather today. We had a lot of rain, sprinkles throughout the day.
It wasn't bad rain. It was just the sprinkles.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it was the threat. The threat of rain, the threat of bad weather was there.
Exactly.
But for the most part, it passed over, thankfully.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of thunderstorm watching and things like that. So I think that's what kept a lot of the crowds out today.
Yeah. I know a number of people who said they were coming out weren't able to make it for whatever reason, but I think the weather had a lot to do with that, unfortunately.
I still had a great time.
Oh, absolutely.
We had a number of different vehicles. We've already, mentioned that we had Ed's sandrail there, and then we had a couple of vintage Willys. We had vintage Power Wagon.
Pegasus was out there.
Oh yeah, Pegasus.
But, very nicely built LJ. So the long wheelbase Wrangler.
Yeah.
From 04 to 06. So that was a very cool truck.
We had a handful of bikes and quads.
Yep.
So what else Ed, did we have anything else out there that I'm missing right now that we need to mention? We had a little Chevy Tracker. We had
The Power Wagon.
I mentioned the
was
Power
a cool truck.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
The Power Wagon or that Willys was my favorite.
I was just going to ask you that. Like, what was your favorite?
Ooh. That's a tough one. For me personally, I like the Willys truck. I really like that truck. I know a lot of the work that he did with the restoration on it. I know it was there last year as well. Mm-hmm. It won the Best in Show.
Best of Show last year, yeah.
And I just, knowing a lot of the history of them, for me personally, I think it was between that and the Power Wagon for sure.
Ed, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking the Power Wagon for sure.
You like Grumbly?
I liked Grumbly. I liked the side crane on it.
That was awesome.
And that front bumper was solid steel and just
straight up I-beam. I love it.
All I seen was solid built all over it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's been building that. So what we're describing right now, folks, is there's a gentleman named Michael Manzak. He owns the number 12 Power Wagon that we currently have in the museum, but his kind of quasi-daily driver is another Power Wagon. I didn't catch the year on it. It wasn't like 52, 53, something like that.
I honestly don't remember.
I think it's in there. I could be wrong on the
year. I know
year.
we'll hear a word from him in a moment or two here, and I know he talked about it there.
Okay, yeah. So he's got this old Power Wagon that he's been modifying over the years. It's got like a 5.9 Dodge Magnum engine in it. I think power steering.
Hydro boost.
Yeah,
so power steering.
Yeah, he's got a number of things to make it drivable, and he drives it quite a bit. He won best first responding vehicle, even though it wasn't a first responding vehicle, but it does kind of look like a fire department brush truck.
And as he pointed out, he's got a winch on it, and he's got the davit arm on the rear there, the little crane thing. Yeah. So, I mean, it would definitely get some people out of some stuff, for sure.
It would. Definitely some cool trucks out there. We ended up interviewing a bunch of the people that had their vehicles out there. I don't know if we had everybody, but darn near.
Just about. I know there was one gentleman who didn't really want to go over too much.
Okay. So why don't we let producer Andrew, this would be a good point for him to be able to go in and kind of cut in some of those interviews, at least some of the ones that we get the best audio quality on.
Yeah, we were just kind of shooting in the field, so some of it may not have quite come out so great, but we're going to do the best we can to include all the interviews that we did get. I know we talked to a group from Canada as well that came out. Check the show out, and they're actually going to be coming out bringing some trucks next year too.
Hopefully, yeah. So let's let him cut some of those in here, and then we'll come back after that break.
Sounds good. Well, hi there, folks. This is Johnny Orange and Keith coming to you from Wheels in the Woods 2019 today.
Yeah, that's right, John. We got a couple of rigs out here. I think the weather shot most of them out of the way.
A little bit, I think so, but we have a few people here with some cool cars and trucks and Jeeps and whatnot. And we do have a couple here who brought a nice built-up, what is that, a YJ? CJ7. Okay. So how about you guys, just tell us what your names are and a little bit about your rig.
Hi, my name is Heidi.
My name's Gary. I got a 84 CJ7. I got a 360 in it. I got an automatic for the wife can drive it, but she hasn't drove it yet. And we enjoy it.
So are you guys part of a big off-road club, or what brought you guys out here today?
Well, we belong to Blue Water, and we belong to a little club called Dusty Trails. And we try to make it up to Grayling a few times a year, and we have a pretty good time up there. So.
Reason for coming out today is because we want to support, we want fellowship, and we want to talk about things we love to do, which is four-wheeling. So it's a nice little event. Yes, it's small today due to the weather, I agree, but it's still nice to come out and have fellowship. So I would strongly suggest next year's people come out and visit. It's well worth it.
Well, we appreciate your guys' time. Thank you for coming out. Hope you're having a good time.
I want to hear more about their Jeep here. I'm looking at it. It looks like it's a CJ. Is that a glass
glass tub? It's got lockers, front and rear lockers.
Front and rear lockers. What are you on, 35s or
33s?
33s.
Yep.
Okay.
You got the Dana 44s in it.
You said you wheel around Grayling, so have you done the big hill climb they have up there by the tank trails and everything?
Oh yeah, they closed a lot of that up there, but.
Oh, did they?
But yeah, we're gonna go back up in October again, check it out.
Oh, that sounds like it's going to be a great time. That I haven't heard of Dusty Trails. Where are they located out of?
Warren.
Okay. Maybe I've heard of them, but I didn't know where they were located. And then Blue Water Jeepers, you're through St. Clair County here.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Well, we really do appreciate you coming out and supporting the museum with this event, and we're hoping over the years it continues to grow. John, you got anything else? I know you were trying to sign off, but I said I had to introduce you, or I had to interrupt you there,
No, I'm good. Just again, we appreciate your time and hope you guys are having a good time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello again, folks. This is Johnny Orange coming to you from Wheels in the Woods 2019. We're speaking with Mr. Jim and his beautiful Willys truck. How's it going today, Jim?
Pretty good.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about this thing? This is it's a very cool truck. I mean, it looks clean enough to eat off of.
Well, I don't know about that, but it's a 1953 four-wheel drive Willys Overlander. It's a four-cylinder F-head motor. It's about 6-volt system. That's about all I could say.
So you did a full restoration on this, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes, I did.
So how long did that take you to go through and do all that?
I worked on a study for a year and a half.
A little bit quicker than my projects have taken me.
But I retired, so I go out every day and work on it for a year and a half.
Gotcha. So how difficult was it? I mean, how bad a shape was it in when you first got it? I mean, compared to now, it looks absolutely beautiful.
It was rough. It had some rust and, typical cancer and stuff. But it's all repairable.
Well, we definitely appreciate you bringing it out today. So what did you think of the event as a whole? I know you were here last year and you won Best of Show with us last year, correct?
Yes, I did. I thought it was great. I think it's great this year. Just hope it gets bigger next year. The weather was a
bit of a bummer.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's our hope as well, of course, that it gets bigger. And we'll see how it goes next year. Weather definitely put a little bit of a damper on it. But we do appreciate you coming out and talking about it. And we'll see you around town, and we'll hope to see you next year.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Keith Cordett of Thin Line Off-Road. We're out here at Wheels in the Woods, the fundraiser show for the Museum of Off-Road Adventure, and I'm with Johnny Orange and some other folks here.
How's it going today, guys? So we were speaking with two people. You guys came over from Canada, I believe it was?
Yeah, Wallaceburg, Canada, about 20 minutes from the border.
Sounds good. And what brought you guys out here today?
We found out about it at Firefox restaurant. We go there a lot.
Cool. The Foxfire Fixins?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, they're one of our sponsors. Very cool. So what do you guys think of the event here?
We think it's really good.
Cool. Liking all the stuff that's going on? Anything any in particular liking about it, not liking about it?
It's a pretty cool event. We're going to definitely bring some rigs next year. There's a little bit of everything here too. Not just mud trucks or sandrail. It's a good time.
No, Keith, did you have any questions for these folks?
Well, earlier we were speaking, and you said you've got a Chevy truck that you did a bunch of modifications to. It's got a whole 2500 suspension underneath it.
Yeah, that's correct.
Very cool. You going to bring that out next year?
For sure. Yeah.
All right.
We'll probably bring 3 trucks next year.
What else do you have?
I got a square body, short box, step side. And he's got a Colorado, 2005 Colorado, 4-wheel drive. It's got a bunch of lights and stuff on it, so.
I'm looking forward to seeing them all.
Cool. Well, thanks for your guys' time. Appreciate it. Hope you're having a good time, and we hope to see you out here next year. Thanks again.
Yeah, we'll see you next year for sure. Thanks. See you next year for sure.
Thank you. We're out here at Wheels in the Woods 2019. And we're here with Michael. He has brought out for the second year in a row his famous Grumbly Power Wagon truck, which I love. Tell us a little bit about Grumbly.
Well, I picked Grumbly up about 3 years ago off of eBay. I saved him from Legacy Trucks, who make the six-figure four-door diesel Hemi whatever conversions with Napa leather and ones you don't take off-road. And I think they bought it as a truck they were going to rebuild, but thankfully they thought better of it, and I picked it up and brought it out here. And since then I've replaced the engine, rewired it from scratch, built a tailgate, did the interior, custom radiator, disc brakes, hydro boost, power steering, just a bunch of work to make it mine. So very, very happy to drive it and bring it out here to see with you guys today. I've also got another one that's in your museum. Looking forward to getting that back on my own home turf at some point here, so we can get that thing running and driving. And then
No, you can't have it back. No, it lives at the museum now.
Well, if you guys want to work on it while it's there, I'm all about it. I will drop off the parts.
Yeah.
If you get bored, have at it.
He has loaned us very generously number 12 Power Wagon, the earliest one known to exist. It is very, very cool, beautiful truck. We've actually done some speaking about it on the podcast, and we've had, of course, on the social medias pictures of it, things like that. But John, you look like you have something you got to say.
So, if I'm not mistaken, I believe we had been discussing with you before about actually coming onto the podcast, and we're going to do an episode with you, I assume, about the Power Wagon?
I think that was the plan last year. That's the plan this year. We'll see if it's still the plan this time next year.
Well, last year the podcast didn't exist, so that's a new thing this year.
It was very much in your head, I think, at that point.
Okay, yes.
Well, how about this? We won't have it this time again next year. We'll have already done it.
All right, I think that's a decent plan.
It's a deal. Sounds good.
So overall, how are you enjoying the show today?
Very, very nice show today. As usual, I love the venue. Really nice to have the show just out here in the field in the middle of the woods. It's something a lot more unique and a lot more enjoyable than sitting in a parking lot beside the Home Depot, like a lot of the car shows that you go to. So definitely enjoy coming out here. Unfortunately, like last year, a little bit of a slow turnout, but today, blame the weather. I run car races in my off time too, and when the weather comes, the attendance just drops like a rock. So I think you did just about everything you could possibly do to get people out here. So it wasn't you, it's the weather for sure.
Yeah, there's a show that is a little bit north of here that a friend of ours runs, and he has told me before that they have fluctuated, and the show's been 15 years now. They've fluctuated as little as 18 vehicles and as many as 1,500, all because of weather.
What can you say to that? But good grief, that's all right. It's hard to know how many porta potties to order when you got that amount of variation.
John, you got anything else?
I think that's about all. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming out, and we'll hope to see you again next year for sure. And we'll definitely be in contact with you. Set up that interview.
All right, thanks, guys.
Welcome back to the studio with us today, where we're kind of going over and reviewing how Wheels in the Woods went for 2019. We've been hearing some interviews from people we talked to at the show, and we've got Mr. Ed Henry in the studio with us today.
Yeah, Ed, we really appreciate you coming out and supporting everything and everything you've done. You were really one of the biggest raffle winners that we had. We did a raffle this year. We had 9 items. Yeah, yep. 9 items.
Yeah, along with a 50-50.
Along with a 50-50, and we had over $1,000 worth of items in that raffle. We had some Yeti products, we had some calendars, we had some hoodies, we had some tickets to some events. And then, Ed, what is it that you won?
Well, I feel, this is just my opinion, I won the best thing of all times because it's going to cost me a small fortune, because now I got to do a build for this quick draw 2.R Cummins adapter.
Yeah. Yeah, so you won the Quick Draw brand Cummins 2.8 to AX15 adapter, which would be like the hot ticket for doing a diesel Wrangler or a diesel Dakota, or really even you could use an AX15 in like a small Bronco or something like that, But yeah,
or we could do one in the sandrail. I mean, when you blow that engine up, we could diesel swap it.
So next
we'd have to engine swap it too.
We'll have to do an engine swap?
No, end of the month. You're going up Silver Lake next month, remember?
It's only Ed, it's only money. It's only money.
Yeah. Well, tell that to the lizard.
So tell that to the lizard. I don't understand that reference.
We'll explain later.
Okay.
It's nothing bad.
Okay, all right. Well, I tell you what, that was, I think you did actually explain that to me a while ago. Yeah. I get it now. All right. So yeah, you won the bell housing, which was a $545 value. For I don't know how many raffle tickets you bought, but probably a pretty good return on your investment.
It was a very nice return on my investment. But it was a very awesome thing for Chad at Quick Draw to donate for a raffle. I really do appreciate it, and I would definitely be putting it to good use here in the next few months. I'll be looking into a couple different builds and see what we can use that for.
We'll plan it out. We can discuss some options on the show if you want. See what some of our listeners think about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that.
And do another Wheelin' build.
Yeah, well, yeah, there you go. Another hashtag something, throw it in there. We also did, like I said, we did a 50-50. We didn't have a lot of people that bought tickets on that. My fiance actually won on that, which was kind of cool. So
yeah, absolutely. So dinner's on her tonight, right?
Yeah, I think it was like $36 or something that she won.
So beer's on her tonight.
Oh, beer's on her, yeah. We need to send her to the store, and that's what we need to do. We also did, or what else did we do? I know we did. We just talked about the trivia. The trivia.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So I went up to see how good I could do, but I kind of had to disqualify myself because we've discussed a lot of that.
Yeah, we pulled more than half of our trivia questions from the Wheelin' show, the past shows. So if somebody has a really good memory, they would have known like half the answers right there.
Yeah.
And yeah, John ended up doing like 85, 90% on every single one of them.
Just about.
I loved the trivia. I thought it was a lot of fun, but the first round was too long.
Yeah, a few too many questions on that. If we lighten that next time, like we did with round 2, I think that went really well.
Yeah.
It's only a few questions shorter, but I think it flowed a lot better.
Originally, we did 20 questions. That took a little too long, so we went down to 10, along with 3 fill in the blank. And then I really enjoyed the Jeopardy style we did at the end, where
that was cool.
Yeah, we had the two guys divided. Our 2 round winners were divided. Ed was not one of them, although he did really good in round 2.
Oh yeah,
I lost by 1 point.
Yeah, he did 1 point.
And the worst part was I was 1 year off for the one.
Yeah.
I said it was 78, and I think it was 79. They discontinued.
The solid axle on the Ford Bronco. Yeah. That was actually the one that lost him on that.
And I put 1980.
One of the questions was, what was the last year for the solid axle on the Ford Bronco, which was not a Wheelin' question. That is, we haven't talked about that, but 79 was the answer, and Ed had put 78, so which was actually closer than everybody else.
Nice.
But it is what it is. And then we divided the 2 winners. We had the 2 round winners, and then we told them first to 5 correct answers won. So
some of those were some pretty tough questions. I mean, it took us
about 15 questions.
Yeah, thereabouts. But it went really well. Everybody had a good time with it, I think.
What I was amused by is some of the stuff where they had to guess a year. And it was like they were
1964, 2006, and it was
the answer was always in the middle of what the 2 guys answered.
93, I think that question was.
Yeah, 91.
Yeah.
There was a 93 and a 91, and but I enjoyed it. I'd like to continue with the trivia stuff. That was a ton of fun. We had an ultimate trivia plaque.
I'll have two others we should add. You did mention we had some quads and little motorbikes out there.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. But so I guess you could call this a little bit of more news. We have a new display vehicle.
Oh yeah, okay. So one of the people that came, and it was the gentleman who donated the calendars, and he does awesome calendars.
Absolutely beautiful calendars.
They're Jeep calendars, vintage Jeep calendars, and we are going to be offering them pretty soon for sale as a fundraiser to the Mora. But he had a 47 CJ2A that has some very rare factory options, such as the rear PTO with the air compressor, capstan winch.
I've never seen that before. That was absolutely fascinating. Both of them. But I think the capstan winch, that was cool.
Yeah.
That was very cool.
What did you think of that little Jeep?
I liked the air compressor on the back.
That's pretty cool, wasn't it?
I mean, as far as having something that is going to be extremely useful like that, that's hooked up to like a PTO, that was awesome.
Oh,
it just made me a happy person when I seen that. At first, I was trying to figure out what it was. I was like,
everyone was doing that. Everyone's standing around like, what is it? Looking at it all funny in different angles.
And then I seen the air hose on it like 10 minutes later, and I was like, you dummy.
Yeah.
Kind of sent me for a small little loop there for a few minutes, and then
Don't feel too bad. It is an extremely rare item, he was saying.
I think he said something like one of. I mean, we'll hear it in the interview.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I
yeah,
think
we had a nice little extended interview with him about the vehicle, its history, its origins, how it came to him, a little bit of the family involvement with that, and, what brought it to the museum.
Yeah, he's loaning it to the museum for a few months now. It'll be there through the Christmas walk in December, which is our busy season because we share the building with the staging area for the Christmas walk event. So we're pretty much expecting through December we'll have about 3,000 people go through the museum. So I'm glad it's going to be there for people to see that history. Which, what's kind of interesting is we now have 2 vehicles in the museum with a rear-mounted PTO accessory that are both extremely rare. We got the number 12 Power Wagon with the belt drive on the back, and now we have the Jeep with the belt drive that goes to the air compressor, which I think he said was like one of 2 in North America or something like that.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it. I've never even known that. I've never seen it.
I'd heard of it. I've never seen a picture of that. I've seen other rear-mounted PTO setups.
So while we're talking about them, how about we take a moment, we'll listen to that interview and come back and see where we're sitting.
Sure. Sounds good, John.
So this is Johnny Orange coming to you actually from the Mora now. We've changed locations for today following Wheels in the Woods. And we've got Mr. Keith and Mr. Bill here. So Keith, I know you had a few questions for him here.
Yeah, we have Bill Norris here, and he is bringing his Jeep 1947 CJ2A to loan to the museum for a while. Beautiful, beautiful Jeep, Bill. That has some options on it that I have only heard about, but I've never seen. You've got that rope-mounted winch on the front, and then that air compressor on the back. Tell us a little bit more about this Jeep.
Well, like you said, it's a 1947. The winch on the front's a capstan winch. It's actually driven off the crankshaft in the front. Very, very rare option. On the back is a Westinghouse T1 compressor, air compressor. Another very, very rare option. The fact that it's mounted on the pulley drive makes it even more rare. There's only one other one I know of in the U.S. It's good for 70 PSI. It's used for airing down tires. You air them back up when you need to. It also has... Everything is an option on these old Jeeps. So the passenger seat's an option, the back seat's an option, fuel filter's an option. Has a Novi engine governor on it to help run the pulley drive off the back. It has a reproduction 9-piece canvas top, just like the original. Like I said, it's 9 pieces. You can have full cab or a half cab. Doors come off, the sides come off, the back flap comes off. It's very versatile. It's got optional fog lamps on it with a little Willys crest on the top, if you notice.
That's awesome Jeep. We really appreciate you bringing her down here. And that top, that's pretty unique. You said that takes like a half an hour or something to put up and down?
It does. You need a 7/16 inch wrench and a half-inch wrench and a lot of time. So, if somebody got caught in a wet in that thing, it would be, by the time you get the thing up, it's too late. The interesting thing about it is this is the only model where you take the top off and the top center bows mount to the windshield, as does the reinforcing bracket or bar, and then on the sides there's brackets for the curved top bows on the driver's side of the body. That's the only model that had that. And on top of the rear fender wells are footman loops with canvas straps, so you'd fold up the top and then you'd mount them on the fender and strap them in.
Very interesting. What's the story of this Jeep? How did it become in your possession? Did you restore it? Was it like this when you got it? What's the story there?
So when I was about 14, my dad said, what you're going to drive soon. What kind of car do you want? Well, I always wanted a Jeep since I was like 5. So we went and looked at new Jeeps. And then he said, well, you know what? I always wanted a flat fender when I was about your age. Let's go look at some of those. So we did that, and I started looking these things up and realized how much they could do. And that was it. I had to have a flat fender. The new ones are cool, but these are just, to me, really, really cool. So we got this one in 84. My dad went through a lot of health issues, and we didn't start really restoring it till, probably 1994 or something. 1990. So we took it in to have the body bead blasted, walked out with a cowl forward. The rest of it was a pile of dust on the floor. So this is kind of before these things got popular to restore, so there's no patch panels. There's a few. So we bought various patch panels. They weren't right. We had to send them back. And then I was at my local Napa store trying to get parts for it, and the kid that was working the counter asked what I was going to do with it. I said, I'm trying to restore it. Well, I didn't know it, but he and his dad did their own body work. So I took the fender and the windshield and all that, put it in the back of a short bed F-150. The whole thing fit in there. Drove it up to his place and ordered the panels that he needed that we could find, and he started welding it all back together. So the good part about that is it has all the body number stamps still in it. The reproduction stuff nowadays doesn't have that. So all the necessary numbers for it to be original are still there. The interesting thing is he couldn't find the transmission tunnel, so he actually made that out of a Dodge Caravan roof. The guy was just amazing what he could do, and then he painted it for me. But my dad and I rebuilt everything mechanically, from everything from the engines to the axle. Everything went through.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And it's beautiful. I love seeing it. You got a question, John?
I do. You had mentioned earlier when you and I were speaking about it, about the color. I don't know if you wanted to mention about that.
So this Jeep was originally Michigan yellow with pasture green wheels. I just couldn't really do that. So when my dad was a kid, he had an all-toy Jeep that it was this color when he was a kid, so he wanted to make this one. So it's Harvest Tan with Sunset Red wheels.
Very cool. That's it's a beautiful color combination, and I think you picked very well. Thank you so much for bringing it down here, Bill.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And switching back to the Wheels in the Woods, you definitely had it out there. There was a lot of interest there and a lot of questions. A lot of people gawking over the air compressor, of course, and that capstan winch. So what did you think of the event?
Oh, it was a lot of fun. A lot of nice people I haven't met before. I don't come up to this area at all, so it's kind of nice to meet new people.
Very cool.
Interesting stuff to look at. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we'll hope to definitely see you out next year.
Yeah,
for sure.
Plan to be here.
Thanks again, Bill.
Okay.
Really appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
All right, so we're back. What?
We tried to get him to welcome us back.
Yeah, we tried to get Ed to welcome us back.
Newbie didn't want to welcome us back.
No, I know.
I'm disappointed in you.
I'm enjoying having Ed on the show, though. We should get him on
absolutely.
a few more times here and there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so the show, I guess we've touched on most everything about it. Kind of what we really liked about it. My favorite was one of the Power Wheels thing, of course, the new vehicles. There was also those awesome decals.
Yeah.
And they had the Wheels in the Woods ones, and then the participant decals that are like tiny.
That reminds me, I got to get one of those bags still. I didn't get a sticker.
I guess you get one. I mean, you did win Best Diesel.
Wow, I was the only one. I'm not complaining. I appreciate it.
Ed had a diesel there. He just didn't enter it.
Yeah, I told him to.
I could barely enter the sandrail. The diesel was actually to hold the RC cars on the tailgate of the truck.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Service truck.
Yeah, the service truck was the diesel.
That makes sense.
I will add, that was a very cool thing. The thing is, I got a couple plaques with the Pegasus. I was not expecting. And the whole judging by the public thing is a very cool feature. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So,
but I do got a question. Where do I get one of those big decals, like on the sides?
Oh, the window
of
decals.
Your excursion.
The Wheelin ones?
Oh, yeah.
We got a guy down here we're going to have to talk to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it would look real good on the back of the truck window there.
Sure.
A nice big old one right there.
We can talk.
Yeah, we like all the advertising we can get.
Absolutely.
And, the next show we need to do some name shout outs and things like that, because we have had quite a bit of social media traffic in the last week or so, not just because of Wheels in the Woods, but other things. So, folks, if you were listening to this episode and you were wondering where did my normal 4x4 news go, where did, all
Project
the shout outs.
XJ updates.
Yeah, all those things we're going to do in the next episode.
Yeah.
This was all about Wheels
Just a
in the
recap
Woods.
for Wheels in the Woods 2019.
But, we are going to do a Wheels in the Woods 2020. We're going to pick a date very soon for that. We'll announce that on 4x4 Talk. We'll put that on Wheelin. We will put that on, just all the different pages.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll let you know what that's going to be. And we're going to try to plan an entire year in advance this time, because this year, I think more than last year, was a learning experience for us of what works and what doesn't work and what we can tweak.
Like Power Wheels, we definitely got to make a couple of those turns a little wider.
Okay, so there you go. That's one of the things.
Yeah.
I didn't expect I didn't know they made side-by-side ones. I knew they always had the two seats, but it was really big enough for one kid.
Oh, yeah. I remember like a little four-wheeler when I was a kid.
Yeah, these things are
huge.
These things are huge, so the track needs to be a little bigger,
A little bit. Live and learn.
I do want to challenge Keith, for him to have a Power Wheel off with me, who can drive around the track the fastest.
Do we need to do an adult Power Wheels race?
Oh yeah, between
I
me and
support
you,
this decision.
Oh man. Oh.
we're gonna have to get one, and me and you're gonna have to race who can do the best time travel around the track in it.
I'm down. I think we
Could
need
I just
to
do one of those burlap sack races too?
where you just like run.
But around the track.
Dude, did you see how many stakes were there?
Yeah, good point.
I'm gonna
Somebody's
end up with
impale
one of those in an
themselves.
eye or something. That's
But
it.
it'd be funny.
Yeah, well, speaking of the track, so the track had the way we laid it out. We had the rock crawling thing, like we said. We had some tight turns. We had like 2 stumps that they had to kind of get over. They were just low cut stumps, but it was enough that they could give them a challenge.
What impressed me, some of these things had like 4 high and 2 low.
And the one had a selectable locker in the rear.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm like, dude, this is more than a Power Wheels.
Yeah.
That thing was cool.
And then they had the tunnel that they had to go
Yep.
through, and
The teeter-totter thing, we got to adjust that too.
The teeter-totter we had a teeter-totter for them to drive up that would go down, and that was cool, but it was too short. The wheelbase of some of those rigs were too long, so it got jammed.
Front wheels get over pivots, and then they just dead stop.
Yeah, they did stop.
One of the things we can do for like the RC cars is like to do a jump into sand, so we can see how far we can launch an RC car. Maybe next year.
What you don't know, Ed, is that whole area behind where you are is all concrete like that. There are hills, there are sand, there's all sorts of stuff, but it was overgrown. So this next year, I was talking to the property owner, and they're going to try to get some weed killer in there and a brush hog where they can, and we might be able to turn that RC area into a heck of a lot bigger of an area.
I like it.
I want to make some jumps.
Yeah.
I
We'll
want
get you out there, give us a hand.
I can definitely do that next year. I'm wanting to really help out the community more, and that's one thing I did want to say thank you to Keith and Johnny Orange here for helping us out and doing this for the community. And I know they put a lot of time and effort into this of their own time, and that means a lot to the people that showed up there.
Thank you, Ed.
Yeah,
It's
thank
not
you.
just us; it's the entire museum staff, and even people that are involved with the museum, but they're not
And
on the board
I'll give
or
a
anything.
personal. I'm sure everybody will agree with me. A big shout out to everybody who was involved, taking time, their own personal time from everything to help out with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks to all of you.
I tell you, I think that was a great time, and I think this is a good time to wrap this one, and let's do our after show. If you're interested in our after show, you got to go to patreon.com. Wheelin, for as little as $2 a month, you can listen to our after shows where we have a little more fun, and I think we need to keep Ed around for the after show this time.
I'm for it. I think this is gonna be a good one.
All right,
I
let's
got
do
some
it.
stuff in mind.
Let's do it. All right.
Thanks for listening, and have a good one, everybody.
Bye, guys.